This just happened. Canada has issued what it's calling a final warning, a high-level internal alert related to the rising threat of war between Iran and Israel. On the surface, it's quiet. But beneath that calm, the entire geopolitical landscape is shaking. What the public doesn't know is that behind the scenes, Ottawa is prepping for a worst-case scenario. Total collapse in the Middle East. An international war. And a ripple effect that could directly hit Canadian soil, economically, digitally, and militarily. What's being hidden from you is bigger than a regional clash. This is about nuclear thresholds, superpower alignments, and the very real possibility that Canada may have to choose sides, with consequences we haven't seen in generations. This is Maple Flash, and you need to hear what we uncovered. The Middle East has always been fragile. But over the last 2 weeks, it's moved into a pre-war posture. It started with reports that Israeli intelligence discovered a planned long-range missile strike, allegedly being coordinated between Hezbollah operatives and Iranian commanders. Israel responded with targeted bombings deep in Syria, warning Tehran that retaliation would be swift and unprecedented if their red lines were crossed. Then came Iran's response. The Revolutionary Guard mobilized heavy artillery and drones near the Iraq border, and ordered drills that eerily mirrored preparations from the lead-up to the 2020 Qasem Soleimani escalation. But this time, things are different. This time, Iran is not alone. Over the past year, Iran has signed historic defense pacts with both China and Russia. This isn't just economic alignment. It's military coordination. Iran is quietly being positioned as a strategic wedge, a disruptor with backing from the two biggest U.S. adversaries. And Israel knows it. That's why they've ramped up calls to the United States, Britain, and yes, even Canada, to prepare for worst-case scenarios. But here's where it gets serious. A newly leaked NATO brief, obtained by confidential sources in Brussels, shows Canada has been placed on a Tier 2 standby alert for rapid deployment forces. What that means? If war breaks out, Canadian involvement, even indirect, is no longer optional. It's part of our allied obligation. Let's talk about that warning. According to high-level government insiders, a classified memo from Global Affairs Canada was circulated just 48 hours ago under the codename Crimson Signal, Phase 4. That level of alert has only been used during two major global events. 1. The fall of Kabul. 2. The early days of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This alert includes preparing emergency diplomatic exits from Tel Aviv and Beirut, prepping cyber defense assets for possible foreign interference, quiet coordination with NORAD and NATO partners, activating intelligence fusion cells at size. In plain terms, Canada is bracing for impact. While this may feel far away, the impacts will hit Canada fast and hard if conflict ignites. Experts say gas prices could surge to $2.50 per liter or higher overnight. Stock markets will plunge, especially in tech and global infrastructure. Major urban centers could face cyber disruptions on transit systems, banking platforms, and even power grids. Canada's energy sector would be thrown into chaos, especially with foreign buyers panicking to secure reserves. Would be forced to make split-second decisions. Do we send troops? Do we sanction Iran, knowing China and Russia will retaliate economically? Do we increase security within our own borders? What isn't being broadcast on national news is what's happening on the intelligence front. SISE has quietly increased surveillance operations across Ontario, British Columbia, and Alberta, specifically watching for activity linked to Iranian proxy groups or foreign cyber operatives. And while there is no confirmed threat to public safety yet, sources say the agency is tracking digital signatures tied to known hostile cyber networks. It gets more chilling. A senior intelligence advisor told us, "We're not just worried about missiles overseas, we're worried about digital bombs here at home." Phishing attacks on Canadian government infrastructure have already increased 300% in the last 5 days, many traced back to foreign IPs historically linked to Iranian cyber militias. Inside Parliament, the tension is palpable. Prime Minister Mark Carney is under pressure to issue a public statement, but so far, he's chosen to remain silent, fueling speculation. Some insiders say he's deliberately avoiding escalation, hoping to give diplomacy one final shot. Others say it's a sign the situation is already beyond control. Meanwhile, opposition leader Pierre Poilievre is seizing the moment. In a blistering speech outside Parliament Hill, he demanded full transparency, stating, "The Canadian people have a right to know exactly what's happening, and what this government plans to do if war breaks out." For the first time in months, political lines are being drawn not over domestic issues, but war preparedness. All signs point to a countdown. Satellite data confirms Iranian missiles have been moved closer to striking range. Israeli air defense systems have been placed on code red alert status. And American aircraft carriers are positioning in the eastern Mediterranean, a move that hasn't happened at this scale since the Gulf War. Canada's role may seem passive, but don't be fooled. If this war starts, our country's next decisions will define not just our foreign policy, but our identity on the world stage. This is not fear-mongering. This is geopolitical reality. The fuse is lit, and every hour that passes, the chance of detonation grows stronger. Canada has issued its final internal warning. The question is, will the world listen, or will history repeat itself in flames? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Would you support Canadian involvement if this turns into a full-scale war? And do you believe our government is doing enough to protect us? Like, share, and subscribe to Maple Flash, because what happens next may change the world.